My major takeaway is that the perfect is the enemy of the good. That we are trying to move away from ad hoc processes that can cause catastrophes to more systematic and thoughtful ways of approaching the how of your research. So anything that is moving along that path and reducing the problems that can emerge is a good, positive thing. And so the hopes that we brought into the Data Champion series is that we could give people small, practical things that they could do across their projects that would make a real difference.
We should imagine that our data will be shared at some point, right? We shouldn't wait till the end of the project to clean up the data or write out the processes, because we're going to forget, and that's the reality of it. So document frequently, document all the time, make sure that all of that is legible and can be replicated by somebody else. Even if you imagine that it may not be useful, you'd be quite surprised how somebody may hear your project and find your information or your data quite useful.
Stressing for people the importance of investing the time early on, and that will have a huge payoff later, is the best argument that we can make to get people to spend the time they need to pay attention to research data management.
And so if I thought about everything as data, and then I applied these principles that I'm learning from data management, is that I think I would have like a beautiful spread of my own learning, because my topics changed since I applied to the program, and then you would also not be replicating stuff.
You would be a better researcher if you adopt proper research data management plan at the beginning of your project. Like I can't overemphasize how important it is, because even personally in my research, just being able to return back to something that you left to work, like you were working on it 4 months ago and you had to move on to a different chapter, and then you go back and there's no document to tell you exactly what you did. Like it can be very frustrating. I've had that experience before, and I almost gave up because I was like, okay, now I have to redo everything. But if you're able to just document things from scratch and just adopt good practices, that would be great.
Once my prof told me that I'll be going to collect the data, and this would have been like my second time of doing field work. But then I was like, okay, me going to Ghana to join a PI, a collaborator to collect the data, this is a big project. Okay, how am I going to manage this data? How am I going to ensure that there are not going to be some kind of ethical issues? There are not going to be some kind of data security issues. Like I was at a point frightened, but like when I got that email that, okay, our project has been selected by Spark for Data Champion, I said, okay, well, prayer answered.
And going back to like Isaac's example, like if you are able to just back up things as you go, you would thank your future, your past self rather, because if you lose something, that can take 3, 4, 5 months of your research time. So you want to document things.
Spark has given me the opportunity, and I'll be guided by it, and I'll make sure that whatever that this project, we go out there to get the data, we should be guided by the fact that definitely there'll be challenges, and then we'll apply the best that we can.
And so I encourage you to take one thing that you can do and just go and do it. See how it works, work it out, and then go back and do your research, keep going. And then when you're ready, do one more thing. Within Brighter Spark, we have been on this journey for about 2.5 years. And we are now at the place where we're going to be making minor shifts, but we feel like we have what we need to have really strong research data management across our projects. And it was not that hard, it was not that painful, it just took consistent small efforts across a period of time. and then we were in a fundamentally different place. So to know that you can get to a fundamentally different place without feeling like you have to drop everything, learn everything about research data management, stress out completely, embrace all these rigid systems, and then not have the time to effectively do your thesis.
Make it a priority. Make it part of your research grant. Make it part of your research practice. It will save you time, frustrations, and most importantly, it will bring transparency to what you're doing and accessibility if you work with international partners. And to me, that's a priority.
We like to speak with graduate students because often they are the most excited about data management. They have a little bit of time and energy for it. And so empower them to take the lead and make recommendations that can be implemented by your team. But then also take the lead yourself, as a PI, make sure that you take responsibility as well, because you have a role in kind of data management. So I think it's a really great model that could be embodied by other research teams.
For the sort of data management program or guidance, to speak more to different types of researchers and the different types of data and research that we're doing. And I think that mutually, like we can maybe ask for that more or ask for help more, and that would kind of hopefully help the data management program to speak more to what we're doing. So that would be my hope from this, is that mutually we can have a scenario that'll sort of mutually bring us to better data management practices.
We all should be champions. I mean, we should all have something on our doors saying, I'm a champion, right? And we should all be data champions, honestly. And I think we do engage with data. Like I said, the language of data seems a bit technical sometimes to some people, maybe some humanities, for instance, right? But like we all engage with data, even if we don't call it data. So forget about the D word and see, what you engage with and the sources that you have and the information that you have from different sources and how you're going to deal with it in a way that is credible and in a way that ensures that the trust that people have put in you for allowing you to have that data is upheld, right? So I think everyone should think about data in that way, and everyone in humanities and social science should really think about what they've done. And I mean, something you did yesterday may not necessarily be the right way. So think about how you learn and unlearn certain practices and do better every single time on every single project. So everything I've spoken about sounds like, we're doing the best data management. We are really maybe not doing that because I think I see it as a learning process. You can only get better.
As researchers, we're constantly being critiqued about our ideas. We shouldn't shy away then from being corrected about our data management, and the fear of potentially having done something so wrong and then not self-correcting versus shying away from it, I think is the concern, because we're still constantly learning, right? And so to think that we know all about how to best organize and manage our data, especially when we're taking on major projects with lots of co-Is, right? I think it's always good to be learning new strategies and to thinking about what has been done poorly in the past.
To see graduate students soak up all of the knowledge that the RDM librarians and I and others that we've had teaching them around research data management, and then filter it through their teams, their PIs, their unique circumstances, and figure out what to take and what to leave behind. And that confidence and that power around being able to manage your own research process and not feel like it's running away from you, which I think many of us who've been doing research a long time have felt research projects kind of running away from us. I'm excited that we might have a generation of researchers that just stop having those experiences, where that just stops being a thing. And we can talk about it in the way we talk about floppy disks. Back in the day, we used to lose data. Back in the day, we used to not say anything about how we collected our data and then not know what a variable meant. I want these to be relics of the past, and I really believe in this next generation of researchers and the work that we all collectively are doing to teach them about research data management to help make these relics of the past.
It's the beauty of being committed to it. So it's one thing if you realize, okay, I know what this is, I'm not getting it done, and I get frustrated and just ignore it. But for the method that we're trying to better ourselves, and we're keeping at it, we're trying to just improve the processes as it goes. I think that's a big plus. I don't know too many people that would want to keep going through this process, even though they know that they've not figured it out quite yet. But yeah, I think we have to give ourselves a pat on the back for this.
It's never too late for RDM.
This series is brought to you by SPARC, a Center for Social Research Innovation.